Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, Ali Shanmal here, and welcome to this video. Align TREX T15 versus OMPHobby M1 Mini 3D RC helicopters. Well, both of them are dual brushless motor direct drive helicopters. So first, let me bring the camera closer and give you a physical comparison, give you a closer look at the both RC helicopters, and after that I will fly them one by one and give you my feelings about both of them, and keeping this very much unbiased and a straightforward, honest review. Do remember that these opinions are my own. Others might not agree with those, but hey, you are getting a complete comparison of these two Mini 3D RC helicopters, dual brushless motor direct drive, and you will know which one to go for. Choice will be all yours. So we'll talk about the conclusion in the end. First off, the size comparison. Check out the blade holes. They also look like the same. When it comes to size comparison, if I put both helicopters side by side and make sure the noses are aligned, you can see the M1 is slightly longer, okay, bigger canopy as well, while the Align T15 looks slightly smaller than M1. Both of the helicopters are nice, sleek and sexy, but this is like kind of skinny. This is like not chubby, but have some beef on it. All right, more beefier. After removing the canopies, these are the internals of both helicopters. You can see Align T15 has very small compact system, okay, while this is slightly bigger compared to Align TREX T15 on OMPHobby M1. While on OMPHobby M1 the system is slightly bigger. Now OMPHobby M1 supports built-in OMP protocol receiver or built-in Futaba SFHSS receivers, so you can bind it with Futaba and Radiomaster TX16S radios. And if you want to use a Spectrum radios, you have to add a Spectrum DSM receiver all by yourself. Now mine M1 has OMP built-in receivers, so I had to get an external Futaba compatible S-Bus receiver so I can use it with Futaba, which is an easy add using this pin right here, this connector right here. On the Align T15, on the other hand, it has a built-in receiver which is SFHSS and DSM protocol compatible, so you can bind your Futaba Radiomaster TX16S. Well, I was not able to bind Radiomaster TX16S, to be honest, but Futaba binds very easily with using SFHSS. And if you have a Spectrum radios, you don't have to buy a new receiver, I believe. You can easily configure bind and configure T15 with your Spectrum radios as well. When it comes to frame, both frames are kind of identical. This is slightly bulkier and bigger, on M1, while on T15 from Align the frame is kind of smaller. Both are, as you can see, nylon frames. Very simple design, which makes it very easy to repair things. However, notice on M1 there is a metal plate right here, while on Align I don't see any metal plate there. So here we have a little bit of metal part here. Now for the swash plate, on M1 you can see that this part is mounted on the servos directly, and then there's a swash plate, connecting rods going to the servo horns, while on T15 from Align there's a part which is installed on the servos, and then swash plate which is connected to the servo horns. So basically here they have a part which is mounted on the servo directly. That means you will have to buy specialized servos from OMPHobby, while here you might be able to get away with similar type of servos on Align. Now when it comes to the tail boom, as I said, you have watched, the tail boom is slightly longer, but both are fiberglass, looks like fiberglass tail booms. And then we have nylon, part at the end of the tail. This tail fin is nylon. Now the tail motors. On OMPHobby, they are using Sunny Sky motors. So this is the tail motor, Sunny Sky, slightly beefier once again, okay, bigger motor, but here is very skinny and small motor on Align T15. When it comes to the main motor, once again M1 is using a Sunny Sky motor, while Align has their own motors. But if you look at from this side, both motors kind of seem identical. Next is the main rotor holder. This one is again slightly bigger. By looking at it on OMPHobby M1, slightly bigger main rotor holder, okay, while here's slightly smaller. If you look at the blades, let me just focus the camera from top down, you can see the OMPHobby M1 has slightly longer blades as well. So if you had the question, can you use OMPHobby M1 parts to align, or align T15 parts to M1, like can you use their parts interchangeably? Well, I would say answer is no. Now for the battery, OMPHobby M1 is using 7.4 volt 350 milliamp 50C battery, and Align is using 7.4 volt 360 milliamp. So this is a slightly smaller battery, just 10 milliamp smaller than the Align battery, but the size wise they actually are similar and they fit properly. So M1 battery goes to Align and you can fly it, as you have watched in my early videos of T15 flights, and M1 takes Align battery just fine. Now before we go flying, obviously canopies will not fit because this canopy is small. This might fit but looks bulkier and stupid, I would say. So before we going to fly, the settings, you have to do everything using the radio controller, no computer required. So all the settings you will do at the radio controller side, and the flight controller takes it, you start flying. If you want to tweak some settings on OMPHobby M1, you will have to use your radio controller and tweak the parameters right from there. On Align, the story is a little bit different. You can still tweak the settings on your radio and get a different performance out of your helicopter, but also it has a built-in app that runs on your Android phone using Bluetooth, connects to helicopter flight controller, and you can tweak a whole lot of settings that are very, very important settings right from the app. If you want to see, I have shown the app in the first videos of Align T15 and settings with the how to set up Futaba. You can see the app offers a whole lot of settings that you can tweak and make the helicopter perform exactly the way you want to do. So when it comes to changing the settings or tweaking the settings and making the helicopter perform according to your taste, Align T15 has much more choices to change the settings using the app and the radio control, while on OMPHobby M1 you are limited to change the settings using your radio control only. Okay, so first I'm gonna fly the OMPHobby M1. So here we go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now this helicopter I have set up a while ago on Futaba, so I'm pretty familiar with the settings on this. I did make some recent changes on pitch curves, and I have been flying it, so this helicopter has seen some good number of flights. So far, alhamdulillah, I haven't crashed it. So I've set it up in a way that it always stays in 6G mode until I hit the SG switch, and then it comes to 3D. No bogging on the motor, very nice, alhamdulillah. So I'm doing my usual flip-flops. Rolls. I have to be careful because there are people back there. So to say, the helicopter has a lot of power for hardcore 3D, and if you have skills, you can really do a lot on this. Unfortunately, I don't have much skills because I'm kind of lazy and I don't practice a lot. I have flight controllers. Oh, don't come closer. I have flight simulators, not flight controllers, and all the time in this world, well, not all the time in this world, but I do have time that I can learn to do 3D more. But normally I just stay with whatever little things I can do, just mild 3D. So this is M1, people, and Switch SG really switches it immediately to, you know, stabilize mode, and it's also act as a, you know, rescue switch. For instance, if I am inverted and I switch to stabilize mode, helicopter automatically switches back to, flips back to normal flight and gets stabilized. So if I'm making a mistake, I might be able to save it this way. So this is the M1 from OMPHobby. Very powerful little helicopter, dual direct drive brushless motors. Very stable, beginner friendly in 6G stabilized mode, and very powerful in 3D mode. You can do sports flight, soft 3D, or hardcore 3D, given that you have skills. Okay, and I absolutely love this helicopter. It has been a very nice helicopter, offers a lot of flight time, and obviously it's one of the best choices out there for such little helicopters that you can fly outdoors and indoors and do 3D indoors or outdoors. Okay, so let's land, and we will fly the Align T15. All right. Okay, now let's fly Align T15. So here we go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now Align T15 has its own settings via the app. You can set up you know, beginner mode, experience mode, and expert mode. So I'm basically in experience mode because I do mild 3D, and it's really very nice for me. It actually matches my style. In stabilized mode, it's very beginner friendly, as you can see. Flies really nice. Was very easy to set up with radio control. OMPHobby does come with radio control, or you can go PNP, but T15 came PNP and was very easy to configure with Futaba radio. Flies very well, plenty of choices, flies very well, and really hands-free. Very beginner friendly, so gives you a lot of time to think and react. Okay, now I'm gonna go 3D mode. So here we are in 3D mode. As you can see, it flips nice and smooth, and actually really suits my style. I like to do this kind of, you know, mild 3D. So it actually suits my style in experience mode. If I had more stick time and more skills, I could do some 3D as well, like hardcore 3D, and do a real comparison of how motor actually reacts. But I do find that motor is powerful enough, does bog, but not that you would actually notice. When it comes to 3D skills, you will still be able to pull a whole lot of 3D out of this helicopter in expert mode or in, you know, experience mode. For my little little style, oh, look at that, I kind of lost it. Gave full pitch negative and motor kind of bogged down, but helicopter still performed pretty nice. I was able to control it. I thought I was going to crash it. So to say, yes, helicopter still has plenty of power for your 3D flights. And well, I want to check what happens if you are inverted and you flip the switch to stabilize mode. So let's keep it here. Yes, it does flip back to normal flight and stabilize mode, but it did fall a whole lot, while M1 flipped very, very quick and got stabilized. So if you want to save this or use this feature as a fail-safe, rescue mode, you have to have higher altitude on T15. So these are my opinion, people, and these are my flight observations. Flight times, both helicopters are offering very good flight times. As you can see, I'm still flying it. 3D performance, both helicopters are very, very stable and nice. For stabilize mode, both helicopters are very, very beginner friendly. Beginners can easily fly them and have fun with them. And 3D performance, both helicopters can do a lot of 3D, given that you have the skills to do that. I would say go for a helicopter that is easier for you to acquire, buy and get. You have good customer support for that. And number 3, the parts are easily available, because these mini helicopters, while doing 3D, playing around with them, throwing them around, you will crash and you will require parts and repair. So do make sure the parts for the helicopters you have chosen to buy are easily available. So thank you very much for being patient and watching this comparison between the Align T15 and OMPHobby M1. Come on, you know what to do. Hit that like button. It's right there. I know you can do it. Oh, while you're at it, also hit the subscribe button. Right there. Come on, don't be shy. Just hit it. Thank you very much for all your support towards my work, that I post regular and fresh content on my channel just for you. Hit that like button right there.